President Obama will meet with congressional leaders later today at the White House. The Republican leaders of the next Congress already are warning him, do not do anything on immigration without us. The president repeated this week that he will not wait for Congress to act.
We will hear from President Obama this Sunday on Face the Nation, which is celebrating its 60th anniversary today. And Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer has been the host for the last 23 years. Face the Nation is now the #1 Sunday public affairs broadcast, and Bob Schieffer is with us from Washington. Bob, good morning. An Oval Office interview with the president, his first since this election. Do you think he's headed for a showdown with Congress?
Well, that's what we're going to talk to him about. Can I just say one thing, Nora? Thank you very much for emphasizing that I haven't been on Face the Nation the entire 60 years because I get letters. Some people think I have.
23 years, though. Not a bad run, Bob. Not a bad run.
Well, one Sunday at a time.
What do you think the key questions are for the president?
Well, I think the key questions are can you get along with Congress? Can you find a way to make these last 2 years of your term significant? Can you get anything done? You know, for so long, Nora, Congress, Washington in general, it's just been about Congress and Washington in general. They seem to have divorced themselves from the rest of the country. The purpose of government is to improve the lives of citizens, and it's I'm going to ask him how he plans to get things back on track, how he is going to reach out to the Republicans, if indeed he is. He says he wants to. Questions, I think, in this interview, I was thinking about it last night. These are some of the easiest, this is one of the easiest interviews to prepare for because all of the questions are so obvious. They're just right out there on the table. So we'll do what we always do, just try to ask him about the news.
Bob, how do you think he'll respond to this question that was put forward by the Speaker of the House, that if in fact he goes alone on immigration, he'll get burned?
Well, I think he probably will take the Speaker at his word. Mitch McConnell says about the same thing. What he has said is that he will take this executive action before the end of the year. There's actually some legislation that's already been passed over in the House that they could get right on it if they wanted to. I think without saying so, he's going to give Congress at least a little time to do something before he acts. But I think he's holding that out. Look, if you don't do something, then I am going to take this executive action. And that's going to be the big question between now and the end of the year as to whether they can come together on that.
Bob, I know also airing on Face the Nation and Sunday Morning is your interview with former President George W. Bush, which you shot in Dallas at the Bush Library, where there's a replica of the Oval Office there where he talked about writing a biography of his father. Let's take a listen.
Now, this is where you put Lincoln. Is that where presidents usually put their...
Exactly. As I say, you know, I had a conflict about the most influential president. So I say 41 hangs in my heart, 16 on the wall. I studied a lot about Lincoln when I was president. I read a lot of Lincoln biographies, and it was an unusual experience to be reading history and making history.
Well, I know that you love to read biographies.
Exactly.
And now you're a biographer.
And I am one. Now I are one. I don't think people really understand George H.W. Bush. I don't think they understand how successful he was as president and what an amazing person he is. And so I wrote it. And I wasn't going to publish it at first until after he passed away. And my instinct said that was the right thing to do. And then I changed my mind and decided to write this love letter to him.
Bob, I see the Bush speak is still going strong. What did you learn?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. This is a biography. He told me he didn't mean to be objective. There's no way he could be objective. This is a guy who really loved his father, and he talks about what it meant to have him as a father. He talked about how it influenced him all through his life. It is a very sweet book, and whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, it's not so much about politics as it is just about their relationship and this unique experience of he's the president, and yet his father was also the president. It's really a terrific read, if I do say so. He also talks, and we'll talk to him in the interview, about some of the decisions he made about Iraq, about going into Iraq. A very interesting detail he gave me. He said he was surprised that Saddam Hussein did not believe him when he told him, if you don't make those weapons, you don't let us come into the country, we're coming in there, and it's best for you to leave. He said Saddam Hussein simply didn't believe him and told FBI agents that after he was captured. He also talks, and we've done something a little different on this. We've done a story for Sunday morning, and we'll use about half the interview on Sunday morning, and then we'll have part 2 later on Face the Nation. And on that part of it, he talks about whether he thinks his brother Jeb is going to run for president, what he thinks about that, and what if Jeb does run, what part he'll take in the campaign.
Interesting, Bob.